Steve Kerr recently said in an interview and speaking to the media that he has confidence in his team to make a run in the playoffs if they find themselves in the play-in tournament come the postseason, reminding the guys of the run that we saw last season from teams like Miami going from the play-in to the finals, and of course the Lakers making it to the conference finals after getting out of the play-in. Kerr said specifically, if we're in the play-in situation in which we have to win a game or two, we're going to be incredibly motivated. If is the key word there though, because while I'm sure Steve Kerr and the Warriors would like to think that they're able to skip the play-in and get themselves into the top 6 in the Western Conference, it's actually more likely that the Warriors miss the play-in entirely than to see them climb up to the 6th seed with just 14 games remaining on their schedule, and the Warriors sitting 10th in the West at the time of this recording. And while I don't think there is a scenario in which the Warriors will actually fall out of play-in contention, there is no doubt in my mind that the Warriors will not make the playoffs this season, and I'm here to explain why. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Game Time. Now, if you've ever had the pleasure of going to a game in person, it truly is one of the best experiences you'll ever have as a fan, but sometimes that experience of buying tickets is not the best. Are you getting a good deal? Are you not getting a good deal? Are the tickets legitimate? How do you know you're not being scammed? A few years back, I once bought tickets to a baseball game with a view that was partially blocked, and nowhere on the ticket or on the site did it inform me that the view was going to be blocked. Well, with Game Time, they take out the guesswork when it comes to buying tickets. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It really is the best place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets. With zone deals, you can pick a section where you want to sit, and Game Time will pick the seats for you for big-time savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So again, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code AND1 for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code AND1 for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, coming into this season, the Warriors had high hopes of contending for a title in what a lot of people had assumed would be the last dance of their current core in Steph, Clay, and Draymond. Although a lot of people actually thought that last season when the Warriors ended up re-signing Draymond Green and didn't trade Klay Thompson. But after re-signing Draymond to a 4-year, $100 million extension, they moved on from Jordan Poole and received longtime veteran player and Chris Paul in that trade that would give them more depth, experience, and playmaking. They signed another veteran in Dario Saric to hopefully give them more size and floor spacing, and of course, they had their young talent that they were hoping would make that leap from the previous season with guys like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. The stage was set, in the Warriors' minds anyway, to compete for a title this season, especially knowing the limited window they had to work with in maximizing their time with Steph Curry while still playing at an elite level at age 35. But it hasn't really worked out that way for the Warriors as much as they thought it would. Having an inconsistent up and down season with stretches of losing followed by winning streaks where it looked like they had finally gotten it together and figured things out, to then taking 2 steps backwards after taking a step forward. Draymond Green being a meathead and finding himself suspended on multiple occasions, getting in altercations with damn near everybody in the league, certain players being unhappy with their roles, Klay Thompson looking like a shell of himself on most nights, and suddenly the Warriors have found themselves, with just a few weeks left in the season, clinging to their play-in lives right now between the 9th and 10th seed. But while I'm sure for Warriors fans and of course the players themselves, they're not really concerned about where they land, what seed they are, because they know they have the talent, experience, and winning pedigree to turn things around when it matters most. All they need to do is get there, and then they'll figure things out. Here's the problem though, in order for the Warriors to even make the playoffs, they're going to need to win 2 play-in games, potentially both of them being on the road, and against strong Western Conference teams. I don't think we can underestimate just how stacked the West is this season when the play-in teams as they currently stand are the Mavericks, Suns, Lakers, and Warriors. And while I'm sure things will change here and there in terms of who actually falls into the play-in and at what seed by the time the season is over, given how close the race is between seeds 4 through 8, one thing is pretty clear, and that's that we'll most likely be seeing the Lakers and Warriors going head-to-head in the 9-10 matchup of the play-in. One of the Lakers or Warriors will be missing the playoffs this season, something I'm sure most of us would not have predicted coming into this year. Now, I had the Warriors finishing 9th in my preseason Western Conference predictions, which I did get crucified in the comment section from that video for that take, but I did think that they were still going to make the playoffs by way of the play-in. But now, though, I don't see it happening, and here's why. First of all, and this is a less important factor, the Warriors' remaining schedule for the year is in the top in terms of strength of schedule, which again leads me to believe that even though it was already going to be an uphill battle for them to get to the 8th seed at a minimum, but with some of the games they have coming up against the Timberwolves, the Heat, the Pelicans, the Mavericks twice, it's all but secured their seeding, falling between 9 or 10. Now, the same can be said for the Lakers, where there is just too much separation between them and the 8th seed to make up enough ground with so few games left in the season, and also, like the Warriors, a tough schedule to close out the year, although slightly easier than the Warriors do according to basketballreference.com. And so when it comes to the Warriors not making the playoffs this season, it really boils down to the matchup between them and the Lakers. And while yes, I'm fully aware that the Warriors currently have the series lead over the Lakers 2-1 so far, with 1 game remaining in April. One of those games though, the Lakers were without LeBron James, and the other, Anthony Davis, had to leave early in the game due to an injury and only played 12 minutes. The Lakers without either one of those guys are, simply put, a bad team. And while that presents more of a flaw on the part of the Lakers, who are so dependent on their 2 superstars being available to even be able to compete in games, the fact of the matter is, as long as both those guys remain healthy for the winner-go-home play-in matchup between these 2 teams, then the Warriors are going to be in for a long night. Mind you, the one game the Lakers beat the Warriors this season, LeBron and Anthony Davis both went off for a combined 65 points, 33 rebounds, and 15 assists. When it comes to these 2 teams, they are both competitively matched up well against each other. It ultimately, though, boils down to size, and the Warriors simply not having an answer for LeBron and Anthony Davis, just like we saw last season in the Western Conference semifinals, in which the Lakers took out the Warriors in 6 games, blowing them out in the final game. Here's the thing, as good as the Warriors system has been and obviously has worked for them over the years in maintaining a small ball lineup, pace and space, heavy ball movement, high volume 3-point shooting approach to the game of basketball, and of course their system has led to a change in which the game is played currently, as good as the style of play has worked out for them, and even to an extent has worked out for them this season here and there, it's so much different when your core group of guys aren't as quick and efficient as they used to be. Like, forget about Klay and Draymond Green for a second, who obviously aren't the same players they were in the earlier dynasty years, or even as good as they were in the 2022 championship run. Steph Curry, as good and elite as he still is, even for him, he has seen an overall dip in production and his efficiency. With a true shooting percentage of 61.8% compared to 65% last season, he's boasting the lowest efficiency rating of his entire career since his 2nd season in the league. Steph hasn't been as efficient in finishing at the rim and has been getting blocked at the basket more times than he ever has in his entire career. While Steph has never been known for taking mid-range shots, he's actually been shooting mid-range jumpers at the highest volume since 2018. But his shooting on said jumpers is at the lowest percentage, just 41% since his 3rd season in the NBA. And of course, not that Steph has ever been a good defender, but this season he actually is sporting his worst defensive rating and worst defensive box plus minus of his career. Yes, even worse than his rookie season. Again, Steph is still incredible, the greatest shooter in the NBA, currently the greatest shooter of all time, and he's still a threat whenever he's on the court. But even Steph is human and showing some signs of decline, having just turned 36 years of age. You know who isn't human though? LeBron James, a man who continues to defy father time, still plays at a high level at 39 years old, and is still a freight train in traffic that is so challenging to guard when he's coming at you full steam. But what's been more impressive for the Lakers this season than LeBron James is the dominance of Anthony Davis, and the fact that he's actually been able to remain healthy all season long, having one of his best seasons in years and getting back to his elite level rim protection while executing on the other end of the floor on offense. AD has been on a mission this season to prove all the doubters wrong, all the fans who called him soft and Mr. Glass. He wants to show that he means business. And don't get me wrong, the Lakers are a flawed team with lots of holes on their roster, a team that doesn't stand a chance at winning a championship in one of LeBron's final years, even if LeBron and Anthony Davis are both healthy. But when it comes to matching up against a team like the Warriors, a team that has zero rim protection, who are so heavily dependent on their outside shooting despite their 3-point prowess dipping overall, a team whose defense has dropped dramatically over the last 2 seasons after finishing first in the NBA in defense in 2022, a team who doesn't move the ball as well as they used to and having one of the highest turnover rates in the league, but more importantly, a team who struggles against big lineups, mobile, agile bigs. And with the Lakers being one of the tallest teams in the NBA by average height, while the Warriors, being one of the smallest, a team that barely even plays their two tallest guys in Saric and Looney, is going to be in for a world of challenges in a winner-go-home game against the LA Lakers. Not when we've seen an overall drop in their production, lack of consistency, and effort on the court. Now, if LeBron or Anthony Davis happen to get hurt and are out for some reason when these two face off, that's a different story, and I could see the Warriors taking out the Lakers in that event. And let's say in the rare event the Warriors beat the Lakers even with LeBron and Anthony Davis, it doesn't just end there. They have to try and win yet another elimination game on the road against one of the Suns, Mavericks, or the Kings. Not an easy task when all those teams have outperformed them and possess more talent with balanced roster overall on the whole. So look, if the Warriors somehow make the playoffs, I will happily come back here on this video in the comments and eat my own words. But given what we know of this team, what we know of the level of competition in the Western Conference, and who they'll have to go up against in order to get to the playoffs, I don't see a world in which they'll be able to make it happen. I would love to hear what you guys think though. Let me know in the comments if you think the Warriors will or won't make the playoffs. Let me know. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.